stand together in this union. So that is what I want from a partner,
And I think it's a good question for everyone, right? Don't you agree? We all could use some advice too.
What's happening with the world? Welcome to Shut Up and Listen. I am your host, Mac West.
I'm your host, Treese the Edutainer.
I'm Sid.
That's right.
So what we talking about today, y'all?
Today we're talking about rules, rebels, and the status quo.
Wait, first, I just want to give a shout out to each of us.
Hey.
High five for the first show.
Yes,
High five for the first show.
Yes.
I'm ready to
yes,
argue with y'all.
Yes. Got him
My
up
brother,
there.
my
You know
brother,
what I'm
my
saying?
brother.
Let's
Respectfully
get it
debate.
in. Let's get it in. Yes.
Respectfully
Discuss.
debate.
That's mine. We just having a discussion.
Whatever.
You know what I'm saying? This ain't no argument. It's a discussion.
That's it. I'm not right. You not wrong.
Right. We
Perfect.
just
You know what I'm
here.
saying?
We talking
True.
about it.
We here to talk about it. We here to shut up
And listen.
and listen.
Yes.
So you said today we are talking about being rule breakers and rebels, and when is it time to challenge authority? That actually make a lot of sense. We got we got a few things going on. What you think, Matt?
For instance, we got this election going on.
Right.
We have a candidate that is a felon.
A felon.
But there's no rules put in place that say felons can't run to be president.
There
You
is.
can't get a job. You cannot get a job.
Right.
But
Like
It's on the
grocery
application.
clerk, makeup artist.
you can't get nothing.
No.
Anything pretty much with a W-2
Flipping
and they have
burgers.
that question.
Right.
You probably not getting the job.
Have-
Except the most important job in the country, pretty much.
Or if you work for
I
Tesla,
mean-
you know they hire everybody.
Okay.
Oh,
You
man.
know.
It's a couple of loopholes, but why do y'all think that you can't get a job as a felon?
I don't even know why they put that rule
Honestly,
in place.
So I would say it's layered. My immediate thing is like I think it's as a mechanism of modern day slavery and just like the prison pipeline, like it feeds into the prison pipeline. If you can't get a job, then you'll probably recidivize and go back to jail. But the other thing that I would say is probably back in the day it was less common for people to be like felons. That was probably a more outrageous thing, you know.
Right.
Now, I mean, everybody got a misdemeanor.
Right.
And then, half of those people got a felony, so.
Okay. You know, and I really don't, I guess that's probably what it is. That rule was put in place because at one point in time, a felony, there was less felony charges or whatever. And if you did commit that, then that meant you were kind of, one of the outcasts of society, or so people thought. You know what I'm saying? We know it comes from whether it's a democracy or whatever country you're in, you know what I'm saying? Overseas, thieves get their hands chopped off in the center of the square, you know what I'm saying? So those are types of things, but, I think they can still go out and get a job. You just gotta need one hand, you know what I'm saying?
Come on, lefty.
Most definitely. The reason why I asked that question is because they're forced to break rules now because just to survive.
Right,
It's just this question is so layered and so many different facets.
right,
And just like, are rules meant to be broken?
right.
I mean, let's get into it. That's actually, that's what we're here to pick apart. So I guess that would be the first thing that we could address is like, are rules meant to be broken? But what other stuff? I feel like there's more stuff to unpack, right? Which is like, I think a part of it is how do you develop leadership capacity? Because really when you become a rebel, a rule breaker, a disruptor, you also become a leader at the same time, whether you want to or not. Right. So I think we got to talk about that part too. Like, what quantifies you as being ready to break the rule? Because like, yeah, be a disruptor, but like,
Right.
some people crazy.
I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like rules, there is, at the end of the day, even a need for rules at some point in time. Rules are put in place for a reason. There are certain rules, certain laws. There are laws of the universe that you can't, deny. You can't go against them. And if you do, things are going to get messed up. You know what I'm saying? But not all those are rules that were created probably before us, like gravity and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then when you come along with the man-made rules and things that certain people in leadership have created, there is a question sometimes of why that person created that rule, and is it really necessary for everyone in accordance to follow that rule? There are rules that, it's all going to depend on what you want to do with your life and where you want to go, whether you want to break a rule or not.
I want to talk about that for just a minute, because that was a really good point about, like, there are some universal laws or rules. I feel like in this day and age, even those are being tested and broken. We have the era of technology, which is largely challenging natural law, right? We have science, which continues to push the envelope about human laws, like all kinds of like universal law.
Right.
So who becomes the rule maker? How do we as a society, what's our compass to decide what rules matter and which ones don't? Like right now, for example, let's put it out there, like cloning,
Right.
right? Like manipulation of agriculture. There are some people who would say, like, this is a good rule to break. We can make perfect fruit.
Right.
And then you have all of the indigenous and local farmers who are like, this is a terrible idea. This is a terrible rule to break. You're playing with nature.
Right.
So,
Exactly, like clone chicken.
yeah, so who becomes the authority, though? Who becomes the societal authority of how we even decide what laws are universal, like this is our foundation, or we just in a free-for-all?
I think these days the rules are in place, but I feel like when it's discovered that some of this stuff is harming us, you know what I'm saying? That okay, we can make the perfect fruit, but you're gonna lose nutrition. You're gonna, we're taking this stuff into our body. It's gonna change your genetic structure. It's gonna change the way you digest things. It's gonna change this, and that. So even though we can do it, should we do it?
So to me, it's like they chose quantity over quality.
Right.
You feel me? And
Mass production.
mass production. So you get things that you can mass produce, and you make things taste real.
Right.
It might not be nutritional for you, but it tastes good.
Right.
And things like that. And we could produce it at a mass rate in this specific area.
Right.
And then we can have control over it. So now you got to come to the grocery store to go get your fruits and vegetables, but you don't have no control over where your fruits and vegetables come from. Or who you getting your fruits and vegetables from,
Right.
Things like that. And then it's just other places to where you want to go get natural foods and things like that. It's very hard to get it. You have to really do research, or you have to travel.
Right.
And then everybody don't have these, amenities to do those things.
Right.
So it just,
I
don't know. It makes it hard. You feel me, to follow rules all the time when you put in situations where you have to survive.
Right.
Because the truth is, you change a rule, you change the access, you change the circumstances. It's not just, oh, I'm going to change this one rule and this just changes the way that we, for example, grow fruit or manage agriculture. It changes everything else. It changes the way that businesses are able to create, consumerism for people to buy fruits and foods and stuff like so. The reason why I think it's so important is because we're at a time right now when so many rules are changing all at once across the board.
Right.
Like not just technology, not just agriculture, not just politics, but across the board, there's new rules being implemented. As a society, we are starting to just say, we're going to make up our own rule. We're going to do our own thing. You got people who are literally willing to go homeless because they decided that they're going to create their own rules. And
Right.
they're not willing to live under the structure that's been
But
provided.
you know what, Treese? You know something? I had somebody who had an experience recently who visited, who happened to come up on a homeless community, right? The homeless community, it had a structure. There was rent being paid. If you didn't pay that rent, you got kicked out and everything for me. So prior to me understanding that, I thought, like it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You free. You ain't got, I got to make sure that I have my rent on the first. Y'all don't have that to worry about. But nah, you still got that to worry about. So you broke away from the rules to start creating your own rules. So is it a innate human thing to build some type of structure, some type of organizations? That's why rules are put into effect, because if every individual was going down their own path and doing what they want to do, it would be more chaotic than it already is.
I was just about to say, you mean would be chaos?
Mad
It
Max.
is
More chaotic.
chaos.
It'd be
It's
Mad
crazy.
Max.
We headed there if we don't get it
Most
together.
definitely, it would be Mad Max or The Walking Dead.
Right.
But
You
we
know,
used to
The
silos.
Purge.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
Even in the purge, though, it was like silos. Like we're used to being communal. We're not this randomized culture or being, right? And that's what every living thing, like ants do what ants do, dogs do what dogs do.
Right.
So to some degree,
There's a natural
we're gonna
order.
have our disruptors and our leaders who gonna shift the rules and push the needle. But then it's gonna be the most of us who gonna be, what we doing? It's zombie land. We hiding or we running or we fighting. We cutting heads off.
Right.
So I think that part happens naturally. But where does that, like you brought a good point. There's the extremes. It's the people who have basically, let's get into the people who got the money
Right.
who have already made the rules.
Right.
Then you have the people who are just saying, well, I don't have a disruptor spirit. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just not finna do any of that. So then you got the people who are like the homeless people who create communities and stuff. But then you got like us in the middle who I feel is divided. The working class, working age, middle age adults, or whatever. You're 30 to 60s.
You got capitalistic people.
Yeah.
You got humanitarian people.
Yes, and then I think also the disruptors.
Yeah, and you got all that living amongst one society, but you trying to have them all live one reality, and everybody has their own different reality and perspectives on how the world should
It's supposed to work.
Okay.
And then we don't communicate with each other, and so the capitalistic or whoever people in control, they set rules in place, and then other people just be like, you know what? I'm like, no.
Right.
Just no. Like, I don't rock like that. Like, I could do this and I'm gonna be fine. My family's not gonna be hurt. I'm not gonna be hurt, and everybody will benefit from this.
Right.
But how you want me to do it cause stress. It causes worry.
Right.
It has so much other effects on me.
Right.
That I can't even think straight.
Right.
You're doing it your way. So I have to break the rules sometimes just to feel good.
Okay.
But I appreciate your structure though.
Right.
Because you have to appreciate structure, because just like you said, like I don't want to be out here like Mad Max, out of control and things like that. But the reason why I'm breaking this rule is because I'm telling you it's time for us to grow.
Okay, so what's a rule? Two questions. What's a rule that you break every day, that you constantly break without thinking? I mean, like, I think we all speed. We all break the speed limit, right? That's a rule.
I'm not confessing to breaking any rules on anything.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, some people.
I'll tell you my personal experience this week. I had ordered some glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
You feel me? To be incognito. You
Okay,
feel me?
okay.
At work.
Right.
I got 20/20 vision. My vision is fine.
Right.
Clear frame, so it's not prescription or anything, no reading glasses, anything. I got it literally just so I can listen to music.
Okay.
Or listen to podcasts or listen to things, because I work security at the airport.
Okay.
And so since I work security at the airport, it's like constantly, boring spots,
Right.
or dormant times
Security is
and things
not- is a
like
boring
that.
job.
Yeah, it's very boring. So
If ain't nothing going on, you ain't doing nothing.
and
I'm
then
doing my job.
And then then they want you to stand up.
Yeah.
They want you to be attentive the whole time. And then they have this slow music playing overhead.
Right.
So it makes you drowsy.
Right.
It makes you not attentive.
Right.
So I'm like, I need anything to help me.
Right.
You feel me? Because I still got bills to pay and things
Right,
like that.
right.
So me breaking the rules also helping me. You feel me? Keep a job.
So you
Or
can,
keep
in
my
essence,
sanity.
you're picking which
simple
rule you
things.
want to break.
Yeah, I'm just picking that one. I need a little bit of music.
Right. I don't want to break the sleeping on post
No,
rule.
do not.
I don't want to break the I'm not attentive rule.
Right.
I don't want to break the I'm not doing my job rule. So I'm going to break the I can't listen to music rule to save three. You break one rule to save three.
To save lives.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me.
Okay.
So let me chime in, because I feel like yes, it does matter which rules we break, but I think also what's causing a separation between us as a working class in terms of really driving change in this country is like what's comfortable for one person to be a rule bender or breaker can be very uncomfortable for another person, because we have different things that we are trying to protect while we still navigate the changing economy, the changing country, and all the stuff happening in the world. So it's like, yeah, I see that you guys are disruptors. And in your mind, it's like, if there's little things that I could do, little rules that I could break to create a better situation for myself while I navigate this capitalistic society, then I'm gonna do that. And I'm like, that's cool. But all of us are not in that position. So then it creates, I guess, like this frown upon, like, oh, y'all just go with the flow. Like, oh, you an order taker, like you don't break no rules. Like, okay, well, in your job you can do that, but in my job, I'm intimidated to do that, right? So like for me to bring it in, that's not a rule that even matters to me. I work for myself. If I want to play music, I can,
Right,
we go
right,
from
right,
Nipsey
right,
to Erica to Fred Hampton
Right.
in one sitting, right? We doing a little bit of everything.
Right.
And I answer to me, so I can do that.
Yeah.
So it would be unfair not to have some sensitivity to the reason why he might be behaving the way he is,
Right.
or why you would do the things that you would do on post, because you guys have a different situation.
Right.
And I think that's one of the hardest things about asking us to come together to become rule breakers right now. It's like we not all risking the same thing.
Right. You know, there's a method to the madness, I believe. Also, at the end of the day, this country was founded on rule breakers, right?
I truly agree.
Conquerors, right?
Right.
Conquerors, takers.
They didn't like it, what was going on over there. We're not doing that no more.
We're gonna make up our
We're
own.
gonna go do this over here.
And then they got their own society and their own way of life already, and we're going to disrupt that.
But
Disrupt
they didn't
that.
have
And
the
we're gonna-
IG or the
But if-
TT. They didn't have any of the
And we're going to
apps.
create
Yeah.
our own society how we see fit.
Right.
And then we're going to make everybody else fit into that.
And we're gonna write the rules, new rules, our own rules.
Right. In our image.
We the people.
Yeah.
So now who the leader?
And who's
You
the
know,
people?
We're gonna make a constitution.
And who was the people at that time
Right.
when they was writing we the people?
Right.
You feel me? And
Right.
we wasn't considered, well, you know.
Oh yeah. I
Different-
mean,
different
That's
show.
thing.
Different show,
thing.
different
But who are the
for
people
sure.
who are the leaders? That's like, seriously, when we're talking about the value of creating a way of life by having rules, and we got into this conversation talking about the fact that like some things are universal law and it's just healthy, right? I don't want another clone trees. You're not gonna come up here and just snatch my melanin. So like
Right.
these standards are good. But now y'all saying at some point, if we want to create the world we want to see, we have to be willing to disrupt or challenge those rules. And so what I'm asking is like, how do we get on one accord? Because right now it's everybody's freelancing. And that's
we gotta reel
crazy.
it in. We need to reel it in some. I mean, and I think that's kind of like, because too much freedom and too much. I think the rules that have been put in place, and I feel like at some point in time it's been already established that, hey, what happened when all these rules were established back in the day, the way that they lived life is not the way that we live life now.
Yeah.
It's not what's going on today. So really from the top to the bottom, or and from the president to the House of Representatives to the Senate to the Congress to the governors to the mayors to all the local politicians sit down together and really rehash the rules. You know what I'm saying? Because I think there was a rule at one point in time that you always hear that in some of the southern states, it was legal to go beat your wife as long as you did it on the courthouse
Yeah,
steps.
crazy.
I mean, at one point in time, slavery was considered legal. You know what I'm saying? So those kind of things, the rule breakers and the revolutionaries, and you know what I'm saying, it took that type of things to bring that change about, and for a lot of us to be able to, as black people, to be able to live the lives that we live today, because there
Right.
were some rule breakers out there, some people who challenged the status quo, some people who went against that, like your Rosa Parks, your Mahatma Gandhis, your MLKs. You know what I'm saying? So those are some of the most prevalent rule breakers and people who went against the status quo and just said, hey, this is not right. We're not doing it like that no more.
Yeah, but also so yes, I totally agree with you. And also I think we're in a time where it's going to be the Khalifas, the Angela Davises. It's
Right.
going to be the people who are the underdogs and who are more, I guess you want to say, bold. The true disruptors, I think, are what's going to drive us to have change.
Mm-hmm.
But my concern is we ain't got no mental, emotional, or financial fortitude. Like regular people in their houses, I think we individually need to recalibrate our own morals and self-laws and rules. It's like, we need a leader. We need people to stand up and be change makers. We need to all come together to institute the new way we want to live. But what about our own moral compass and your own internal laws? Like, what laws do you live by? What do you teach your family?
Right.
I mean, that I feel like as an individual, you only could do as so much, you know, but you have to focus on yourself first. Like once you are healed and you complete, you know, then you can help somebody else. But you can't help nobody until you help yourself. But you have to be aware first. Like you have to come to that awareness. You know, like damn, like I need help. Damn, like I need to figure out what's wrong so I'll be able to better myself and better my situation, better my family. You know, full circle. Admit to yourself first. Like admitting to yourself, like everything that was wrong. And then asking people that's close to you, that really know you, what do you need to work on? And you take it and sit with it. Don't respond or anything like that. You take it and sit with it. Because now you have to work on breaking your own rules, breaking your own habits, breaking your own insecurities. You know, you have to have a breakthrough.
Right.
You know, break out. You know, you feel what I'm saying? And things like that as an individual first. And then, like, once you start doing that and you start going outside and you start doing the things that make you happy, life will become easier for you to help one another. Right. But you can't do that if you're not focused, you know, and things like that. And sometimes it takes people to tell you you're unfocused. You know, like, look at what you're doing.
Well, we unfocused. We unfocused, friend.
You know, like we unfocused. So what does it take to get your focus back?
Right.
What does healthy focus look like?
Right.
When was the last time you was truly focused? You know, and things like that. Because some people been out of focus since they were children because of the situations they grew up in. They never had a chance to really get focused, so they've been out of focus forever. But now they aware now. They getting some awareness. So now I need to get my focus. I need to get some grounding. I need to figure out my shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, like point blank period, for the betterment of me, for the betterment of my family, community, and the world. Like this is very important. I play a pivotal role in the world. I raced against 130 other sperm.
Right.
Nigga, I won. Nigga, I am special. I am enough. You feel me? I am worthy.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. You feel what I'm saying? Like now, like I done did that. Like I done won. I won the race.
Right.
Now it's just time to live. Like we have to live for us and stop telling people. Stop letting other people tell us how to live.
Right.
I'm gonna let you chime in, and then I'm gonna circle back. I got a few nuggets. That was good stuff, Mac. I mean, that's true. I agree.
So in saying that, Mac, I feel like a lot of what I heard in there, or what I took from that is, even, you know, we all start off with a clean slate. You know what I'm saying? Depending on where you come into this world, not all of us had the greatest parents, not all of us had the greatest environments, not all of us had that. And some of those things can probably cause a person to establish a rule in themselves as I'm not gonna apologize to you, I'm not gonna talk to you, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that. So you shut all these walls off, you got that rule for yourself, but you're gonna have to break your own rule in order to heal. You're gonna have to go back or at least kind of like let it go or deal with it and wonder why you set that boundary in place and wonder why you did that, so you can start to heal and kind of, you know, understand. Because if you hold on to that and you go through life doing that, you're not going to be able to grow, and you're not, you know what I'm saying, you're not going to be able to be your full self or live the fullest life that you can in setting rules for yourself. That self-healing and that internal work is absolutely necessary.
That self-work is crazy, especially because now, and I keep coming back to this because it's the pivotal aspect of the difference between back then and now. Mm-hmm. We got too many distractions, all the apps, there's all the ways to show up except in your authenticity. Right. And I think both of y'all are touching on something that I think off camera we've talked about just mildly, but are I know all passionate about, which is that there's no leaders because we don't have anybody who follows self-law.
True.
Like leaders today look like people who are very much comfortable in their duality, where they're saying, hey, here are some changes we need to make, some ways that we need to improve, but also I'm comfortable with holding on to these unhealthy mindsets. I'm comfortable with holding on to these unhealthy ways and behaviors that I haven't created laws for me to correct.
Right.
And I think that goes back to something that Mac touched on. You were saying about how it's been so long that we've been just like out of tune and not paying attention and going along. So it's hard to just snap in and be like, now I understand this, because that's a whole other show, is understanding the system. I mean, actually it's not, it's this show. Like, so many of us don't even understand the system that we are a part of.
Right.
And it's not just us, it's generationally.
Yeah.
We are a part of families, like 4, 5, and 6 generations that don't even understand how this country works. Right? So wait, let me, so in that, you were talking about how we just kind of move along because we don't know nothing better. And I think right now is what's happening is the planes are landing. The planes are being, but there's still some who are like on airplane mode. That's when you like, you in a space with people, but you're just, it's everything is flying above your head, or you are flying above everything that's going on because you're just so numb. Right. And so I think right now, extreme accountability is starting to happen for some of us. And that's those of us who are saying, wake up, like you were saying, get it together and really start to pay attention. But then there's others of us who are still stuck. It's a lot of people. That's why it's chaos. It's a lot of people not paying attention. There's a lot of people who are not going to listen to this podcast episode because they quote unquote have better things to do other than figure out how they fit into a world that's literally going to change and make rules that are going to affect them.
Right.
A lot of people go tune into this podcast.
Oh, a lot will.
I commend that.
Yes.
You feel me? Into the universe.
Speaking.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people, because they,
But we know it's some who won't. Like, come on, y'all.
So it's always gonna be the people that like cheese and don't like cheese.
Right.
Some people
like
like
a hot.
chocolate. Some people don't. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have those differences automatically all the time. You know, and if it's for you, it's for you. And this is for the people that it's for.
Right.
But I don't mean the show. I'm not challenging like that. Some people aren't going to watch the show. I'm talking about not watching the show in the context of, because they're still on airplane mode. They're not going to listen to the show or watch the show because they're not paying attention to none of this stuff. The changes that are happening, the way the world is turning. They just think, oh, I went to work. I'm cute. It's fine. So because that's a part of the problem.
My world is okay.
Yeah. So what do we do about them?
Some people don't want to.
You let them live their life.
Right. They're gonna
That's
have to
what
come
I'm
to
saying.
it
Like,
eventually.
you don't have to, worry about them. You know, it's not for them. Like, they haven't came to this awareness yet.
Right.
So, and then it's not my responsibility to usher that in. Even like, but when you get to there, you'll get there.
Right.
But the people it's here for, hey, I'm here for you too. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And
we getting on the boat and the boat leaving, so I'm just trying to say, come on, y'all.
Come on.
But
You know
and a
what I
lot of people awareness is coming though, and that's what I believe. I believe that a lot of people not gonna be left behind. I believe like people follow humanity, you know, and humanity is growing. I feel like humanity is like children, you know, and things like that. And then we have the old guard, which we're seeing acting out. Then you have us who came along with the analog digital age, you know, the transition.
Right.
And then we got the new kids right now who just came up in just technology. So it's like we need to have a family discussion now, you know, about how things need to go and why it's important for some of the old ways to stay, but why it's important for some of these new ways to be ushered in, because you new kids is gonna be the new ones.
Right.
You feel me? Controlling the world and you know, influencing the world and things like that. Look at the words that we use on every day, like you know, followers and influencers. You follow influencers.
Right.
You know, you don't follow leaders. You follow people who influence things.
Right.
You know, so it's just like even that whole totality, like it seems like people don't want to be led no more. They just want to be influenced to do the right thing.
And on the flip side, more people are innovating. I think that's what I think we need to do. We need to get a guest on the show who is an innovator or who's in the direct conversation about technology. We need a tech geek to come in here and talk about some of the stuff that's coming down the pipeline. Because, you know, they know stuff too. They know some of the things. Before 5G came out, they was all saying, going,
Right.
this is about to happen. It's going to happen.
Right.
So I think we need to bring somebody in to have that conversation and talk about some of the ways the world is changing technologically.
Right.
Because I think that does clue into how we operate in everyday society. I mean, look at what you just said. We went from a world where you had to have a phone to talk and you had to have a leader to follow. Like, these kids don't even know Malcolm X.
Right.
They know whoever got 50,000 followers.
You know, it's
Exactly.
so it's just priorities are changing.
Yeah.
You know, we just got game recognized game and respect that.
Right.
You know, y'all had y'all time.
Right.
It's our time now.
Move over.
You know,
Things have
and then like
changed.
I appreciate what you done, you know, and everything
Right.
like that. But we ready for something new,
Right.
You know, and things like that. So that's how I see that. Why it's important to break rules sometimes. It's just to grow,
Right.
But it also comes with responsibilities.
Right.
I'm not gonna give a ninth grader. I'm not gonna give a first grader the responsibility of a ninth grader.
That's right.
You know, and things like that.
Right.
So it's like we're gradually growing as a people, so we gradually need to change these rules to accommodate everybody. 20 years ago, like you can't same-sex marriages was. Then we
Nothing.
grew, you know.
Right.
Now everybody's just we can love who we want to love now.
Right.
You know, and things like that. We
Right.
grew out of that, like you said earlier. We grew out of slavery.
Right.
You don't need to be a man don't need to be bondage. A woman don't need to be bondage.
Right.
We grew out of that.
Right.
You know, and things like that. Now we're growing into a whole nother society where we're like, we have the resources now to where we can make life easy for everyone.
Right.
You know, and what does that look like?
Right.
We don't know because we haven't had those conversations.
Right.
I think that would be a good wrap up. Is what do we want that to look like? I mean, we ain't got everybody else. I mean, but we definitely have y'all. Make sure that y'all get in the comments, get in the field below, get in the DMs, hit us in the show notes, and let us know what y'all think. But what kind of world do you guys want to see when we're talking about being rule breakers, being disruptors, being innovators? Which one do you think you are? And I'll let you guys answer first, and I'll answer last, or you can close out. I think it's probably better. But I'll start. You can start. But like, what do you think you fall as an innovator, disruptor, or contributor? And then, what kind of world do you want to see?
I'm a chameleon in a lot of aspects. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be times to where I'm a rule breaker, and I expect certain rules to be followed, and you know, I understand the reasoning for that. You know what I'm saying? As a father, you know, look, I know what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? I know what you want to do. I know why you're doing it. I know. You know what I'm saying? I feel you. I'm right there with you. But don't do that right now. You know what I'm saying? You it's not for you. I'm trying to prevent this. I'm trying to prevent that. Your mental development needs to. You know what I'm saying? You don't see the results. You're not thinking ahead of the game and certain things like that. But I feel like all in all, to sum it all up, I just feel like at the end of the day, common respect for your fellow man, human respect for each other, you can't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? But regardless of what rules or what it is, you know what I'm saying, as long as, you know what I'm saying, I'm taking care of myself and I'm not impeding on what you might want to do or what you might want to do, I haven't broken no rules.
I love that. And I definitely think that, yes, being a chameleon is something that's necessary. I feel like we don't wear all one hat at the same time. I will, in all honesty, say though, my disruptor shell the shell that's over my disruptor spirit is still being shed. So I don't think it's fair for me to like own that title as upfront. Now I do have a disruptor energy and spirit inside of me, but my behavior, a lot of times I'm more contributory.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna let somebody else, I know what I should just stand up and say right away, but I don't wanna be the first one to say it.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as somebody else say it and they be like, now it's time to go, I'm ready to go. I'm trained already. I'm gonna be second, right? And so that, I know I have to work on that. That's just my personal opinion, but I think I'm definitely a contributor. Mm-hmm. Sometimes an innovator, but definitely a contributor.
Okay.
And I'm with you. Like, I want to see people have respect for their fellow man. And I think humanitarianism, which is something that you have mentioned several times in this conversation, I want to see us get to a place where systems, people, and places of power are dictated by a spirit of humanitarianism. And I'll turn it over to you to close us out, Mac.
Me, I like to play devil's advocate. You know, all the time. You know, why?
Right.
Why? And I'm gonna ask why again. You know, until it makes sense. If it makes sense, then cool. Like me and my best friend, Bali, once said, if you could sell it to me, I'll buy it. Mm-hmm. But I'm not buying the shit you selling.
Right.
Stop trying to sell me bullshit.
Exactly. I
Point blank
feel
period.
that.
Stop trying to sell me bullshit. You feel me?
Right.
Like, just give me the real, give me the truth, you know, and things like that. And then on top of that, being my background also in the EMT medical field, I know what pain looks like on a universal scale.
Right.
Everybody deals with
Right.
it. So why not make it world easier for everyone?
Right.
You know, so in order to that, you have to disrupt some things. So
Yeah.
I'll be happy to be a disruptor.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
I love it. I
Most
love
definitely.
it.
Yeah.
Well, we got this show definitely so we can keep having these conversations. Clearly, y'all see this is the home where disruptors, innovators, and contributors can come to have these conversations. Mac, close us out and let the people know what we're gonna be doing in the future, or just tell them to come back and see us. How about that?
Most
It's
definitely.
episode 1, y'all.
It's episode 1. You know, we just going with the flow of things. But make sure you tune in again next Sunday. You dig? For another glorious conversation. Shut up and listen. Once again, it's me, Mac West.
Treese the edutainer.
Said.
And we out.
Peace.
Later.
Came together in this union, so that is what I want from a partner, you know.
And I think it's a good question for everyone, right? Don't you agree? We all could use some advice